Hi everyone. Really great to meet you all, and to piggyback on what Angela was saying, really appreciate you all taking time out of your day to join us for this webinar. My name is Brian. I'm a Grandstream marketing manager, and we're going to be talking about building Wi-Fi voice and video solutions. If you're familiar and have been in the industry for a while, this is something that maybe you've experimented with a little bit before in the past. Was kind of toyed with a little bit back when Wi-Fi was kind of coming out more and more and adopted more widely by businesses. But it's definitely something that we as Grandstream have definitely seen more and more businesses, more installers in more enterprises beginning to adopt as an actual solution to sort of keep their employees, keep their the workspaces wireless and mobile. So Wi-Fi voice and video, what exactly are we talking about here? Like I said earlier, it has a lot of different names with it. Wi-Fi, you may have heard, voice over Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi voice and video, as we like to call it. It's all really the same thing. It's really the main thing here is extending SIP through Wi-Fi, so eliminating all those various Ethernet PoE lines that are going throughout an entire business, and keeping everything through a wireless channel, or at least as much as possible. No special plans are needed whatsoever, no licensing, no extra things like that. All you need is the access points and, of course, the Wi-Fi enabled endpoints. And this really helps eliminate a lot of the pesky wiring, which has a lot of advantages behind it, which I'll touch in the next slide here. When it comes to our solutions, we really like to try and offer truly wireless solutions for the more future modern workplace. And we also offer solutions that help prioritize voice traffic. This is definitely a key thing that we built into our access points, in the Grandstream access points, to make sure that businesses can completely offer a voice solution that is as good as a traditional wired one. So some of the advantages we can look at here when it comes to Wi-Fi voice. So it really utilizes immersive Wi-Fi networks. So the main thing here is you create an entire wireless signal that encompasses an entire business, all aspects of it, and allows for roaming, whether it be with SIP-enabled devices or computers, laptops, and other type of Wi-Fi enabled devices. It really allows for a mobile workforce, which is key in today's working environment. Like I was just touching on, offers that unprecedented mobility. Individuals are able to move throughout department to department, room to room, floor to floor in larger installations, and collaborate, work together. This is key. Easy installation. This is an important thing here. Kind of sort of starting to be days are gone where you would have to have miles and miles of Ethernet cords sort of threading through an entire office building, an entire education deployment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to go to every single endpoint, every single device. I mean, let's be honest, when we look at the workplace, people are really sort of moving away from even having traditional desktop computers and moving to laptops. Having a Wi-Fi deployment through your access points makes installations of all your deployments that much easier, since all you really need is just that power source. It's eco-friendly, if this is something that may be an interesting point as well. Eliminating all those pesky cables definitely helps eliminate unnecessary waste and unnecessary strain on the ecosystem that you are developing. And last but not least, it goes ahead and streamlines the ongoing management of a network. If there's ever any kind of issues within a current network, there are, like I said, miles of wires that need to be parsed through, plenty of wire management that needs to happen. This really helps eliminate all of the issues that can arise from having all of those physical cords throughout a deployment. So when I'm talking about Grandstream and talking about Wi-Fi voice and video solutions here, the main things that we kind of wanted to point out today is, of course, one of the big anchors to all of it is our GWN series of access points. These kind of solutions wouldn't be able to happen without a device such as our GWN series. that offers a truly Wi-Fi focused environment for businesses and large organizations that also has the capability to prioritize traffic, voice traffic. Additionally, when looking at endpoints, we have our GRP series, our cordless Wi-Fi IP phone in the WP820, our GXV series of multimedia video phones. These are wireless as well. Our recently released a new GSC series of SIP intercom and speakers, and our Grandstream Wave soft app. So I'm just going to take a quick drink of water and we can keep moving on this. All right. So let's touch on some of the endpoints that we offer here at Grandstream to help develop these truly Wi-Fi voice deployments. Our recently released GRP 2600 series. Wi-Fi is available on almost all models when it comes to this device. All of them also support Bluetooth capabilities, along with Opus in G722 codecs. It also offers state-of-the-art security, which within any type of wireless environment, this is an important aspect. Digital BLF, dual LCD, and extension modules all supported, and cloud provisioning as well. So these are all the kind of endpoints that you could go ahead and deploy into an office to support anything from low call volume, if we're talking about our GRP 2612, all the way up to higher call volume capabilities with the GRP 2616. The model I'm showing right now tends to be a little bit of the kind of flagship model, we'll call it, the GRP 2614. And you can see the device itself even supports a digital LCD, BLF and speed dial side LCD. All right. Next kind of endpoint that we want to point out here is our GXV 3380. This is really top of the line sort of device that boasts wireless capabilities as well, with up to 16 lines and up to 16 SIP accounts supported. It actually has a built-in 2 megapixel camera. This basically gives very powerful video calling capabilities. This is a great thing to go ahead and deploy on the desktop of any of your executives, sales teams that require face-to-face communication to really seal the deal on some of those leads, as well as in education spaces as well, for example, parent-teacher type conferences. With that, it does run on the Android operating system. So this means any kind of conferencing app, so for example, Skype, can run on the device itself. It has built-in Bluetooth and, of course, dual band Wi-Fi, which is the main thing that we're talking about here, to make sure that even though you're using video conferencing capabilities, you'll be able to have a great connection and have minimal packet loss. At the same time, it does offer dual switch auto sensing gigabit ports with built-in PoE and PoE+. The device has a dual mic HD speakerphone and advanced echo cancellation, just to make sure that any kind of conversations that you have are the crystal clear expectation. Then an 8-inch captive 10-point touchscreen, which I said as well is capable of that video conferencing. I'll touch a little bit more on the application for this particular device later on in the presentation. Then supporting 7-way HD audio conferencing and 3-way 1080p 30 FPS HD video capability. This device really is a multimedia solution for any desktop. All right, moving along with our GXV series, another one of our recently released and upcoming video phones here is our GXV 3350. It's our high-end smart video phone for Android. We definitely, when developing this product, realized that there is a large segment of the market here that does want those video capabilities, but still really needs and wants that tactile sort of keypad and other capabilities, all that physical aspect of a phone being a phone. So this is sort of that option as well, comparatively to the previous one. So just like the GXV 3380 though, this device does support up to 16 lines and up to 16 SIP accounts just to make sure that it has that complete and full capability when it comes to handling any amount of incoming calls and maximum call volume and traffic. It has a built-in 1 megapixel camera for the video conferencing capability with the privacy shutter. Also runs on that Android 7.0 operating system, so any type of conferencing apps would be able to function on it. Built-in Bluetooth dual band Wi-Fi, dual switch auto sensing gigabit ports, mic, speakerphone, advanced echo cancellation, all supported here as well. It does have that physical capability when it comes to the kind of actual tactile keys here with the keypad, but it does also support a 5-inch captive 5-point touchscreen just to really help modernize and push that workplace environment and help make the phone itself a real true multimedia experience for the user, help push their productivity. Comparatively, this device only supports 6-way HD audio conferencing, but it does still support that 3-way 720p 30 fps HD video conferencing capability. And once again, as well, all over wireless environment. All right, so this tends to be when we're talking about sort of Wi-Fi voice solutions, tends to be sort of one of the main models that here, at least with Grandstream, we like to really point out. WP-A20, it's our enterprise portable Wi-Fi IP phone that we've developed. So you guys can see a lot of the information here on the side with the dual band Wi-Fi, offers advanced roaming support, HD voice, 2 SIP accounts, 2 lines. There is an Android operating system, which can allow for customized Android apps. Also has a built-in accelerometer, panic button, push to talk, 7.5-hour talk time, and 150-hour standby time. But when it comes to this device, the main thing I want to point out a little bit more, especially in regards when it comes to Wi-Fi enabled solutions, is it's really the key thing here that we're talking about is mobility. In any kind of office, education deployment, which we'll kind of be talking about deployment scenarios a little bit later, offering voice over Wi-Fi kind of deployment, a Wi-Fi voice deployment, mobility is the name of the game here. A lot of offices, a lot of environments are moving more towards, like I said, having laptops, tablets, bring your own device kind of deployments. And it's about time that, let's be honest, voice kind of capabilities start to kind of follow in that footsteps of having the option to sort of support that roaming. Having a device such as this, an enterprise device that is Wi-Fi enabled, can roam throughout any size Wi-Fi environment, really helps change the game. Because you can have this this laptop, but let's be honest, if you are not able to bring your communications device with you, well, what's the point, honestly? If you're someone who's frequently on the phone, you're still kind of locked to your desk. This is a solution in that manner with the WP-A20 and our Wi-Fi access points. But a little bit more to touch on that a little bit later in the presentation. Okay, last but not least, when it comes to some of our endpoints here, which, not last actually, I think I have a couple more, sorry about that. But when it comes to Wi-Fi voice specifically, we do support our Grandstream Wave app. So with any kind of deployments that would require something possibly even a little bit more cost effective, or like I said earlier, BYOD, bring your own device kind of deployments, individuals and anyone that would be able to deploy this kind of solution would be able to go ahead and utilize this soft phone app on their phones as well. It actually can support up to 6 SIP accounts with 6-way audio conferencing all through the app itself, run on any Android or iOS smart platform, so any Android device or Apple phone, of course, can be turned completely into an enterprise-grade device as well. Features include call transfer, LDAP phone book, virtual BLF keys, and more. It has real good native integration with any kind of mobile devices, including contacts, call history, ringtones, all that can be pulled and customized with the device itself. And like I said earlier, this is available on any Android or iOS device. Okay, moving a little bit more with our solutions when it comes to facility management and facility control on the Wi-Fi section of things. The GSC 3510 is our SIP intercom, speaker and microphone. So this device supports a full duplex speakerphone with HD acoustic chamber, advanced acoustic echo cancellation, 3 directional mics with MMAD and microphone beamforming array. Full band and wideband audio is all supported with this device. This does include Opus and G722. We have the integrated dual band Wi-Fi just to be able to, like I said, reduce the amount of Ethernet cables that you need to string throughout a deployment, or that individuals would have to use. 10 megabits per second network port with PoE and PoE plus, in case that is the route that would be able to take, just so you know as a possibility. 2-pin multi-purpose input to support peripherals. This includes a call button with SIP paging, multicast paging, call waiting, priority override, all available with this device as well. When it comes to this device and our kind of Wi-Fi deployment that we're looking at here, it'd be able to be deployed very close or even further away from any kind of access point. All it would need would be that power source as well, which possibly it could even share with the access point plugged into the same kind of any type of power grid that's located there. The device would be able to fully work, fully interoperable with all of our other devices when it comes to the paging and the multicast paging, as well as in having that button peripheral in any type of situations where individuals would need to place a call through the SIP speaker itself, which we'll touch on those in a moment. GSC 3505, I won't spend too much time on this. This is very similar to the 3510, except it does not have that two-way capability. It only has the one-way capability. So this is a peer public address SIP speaker that, like I said as well, boasts that dual band Wi-Fi capability. Okay, for a video conferencing option, we do have our GVC 3210. This is a 4K video conferencing endpoint. Really offers extremely powerful, sharp HD video resolutions with up to 4K Ultra HD. Runs on an Android operating system as well, so can support a variety of Android and Google Play Store apps, conferencing applications. Has that integrated dual band Wi-Fi, has a built-in 4-mic array with noise shield technology, supports an external audio equipment as well. With an advanced camera, has 16-pixel CMOS sensor and a 90-degree field of view wide-angle lens with pan tilt zoom. It supports Miracast wireless content sharing as well, and then a variety of HDMI in, out, USB, and micro SD ports. This is a complete Wi-Fi option here, and the device is as you see it, especially when it comes to a sort of Wi-Fi deployment and utilizing this device. Any kind of enterprise, business, office, whatever, they'd be able to take this device to various huddle rooms, conference rooms, etc., plug it in, and have it work seamlessly. This would be a great option when this device would have to be able to be used in a variety of different places at different times. If you have a lot of meeting rooms that are in use, but very few of them could require simultaneous conferencing, this is actually a good option for it. It's very simple to just unclip this device, take it to another huddle room or meeting room, and reclip it in and begin using it. If it is more stationary, this is also a great option too for that sense. All right, Wi-Fi facility access solutions is just a really neat little feature that we like to point out. So our sort of facility access solutions here, our GDS series, we have both the video option that's shown here and an audio only one, can actually integrate in some pretty interesting ways with a Wi-Fi deployment. So throughout our access points, for example, a call may come in from the front door. The main one that we kind of like to show off here is, like I said, with that WP820. So for example, any kind of security staff, for example, in a retail deployment or office deployment, front desk staff that may be on the move, they would actually be able to receive and see who is at the front door when we're talking about our facility access, our video solution here. And they actually also have the option to allow entry to the facility or not. So this is delivered not in a video stream, but in a steady stream of JPEG images to the device itself. So when it comes to WP18, it's a steady stream of JPEGs that they'd be able to use to view who is trying to gain access to the facility. And of course, they also have the option to speak to the individual on the other end if more information is needed prior to providing entry. And I'll touch a little bit more on deployment scenarios with this in a moment. This is also something that works with all of our other Wi-Fi options when it comes to our GXV phones. They are video conferencing devices. They would actually be able to get the video stream from the GDS. And then our other Wi-Fi enabled devices would be able to answer the phone, and soft keys would pop up to provide or deny access. All right. So when it comes to optimizing Wi-Fi for voice itself, this is definitely something we've heard a few times in the past, which is, on this slide. I've tried Wi-Fi before, but, wasn't amazing, but that was 10 years ago. So a lot of things have grown and changed since that. So some of the traditional Wi-Fi voice concerns here, number one thing that we've sort of heard from the past that we've sort of developed is that there's poor voice quality. Well, this was before there was QoS standards, which I'll touch on in a second. Poor roaming capabilities is always an issue as well. So roaming with a device such as WP820, 10 years ago, there wasn't really good experiences with that. Well, the answer here is our GWN series access point solution that was made with Wi-Fi voice in mind. What does this mean really? So the first one to address here is prioritizing our voice packets with QoS standards. So we actually have built-in QoS standards within our GWN access point, which prioritizes voice packets and connections. So the way our devices, our GWN device itself, can prioritize these standards by default is voice, video, best effort. So these are applications, and background network uses. So any kind of passive downloads or emailing, etc. But when there's various different bandwidths are sort of competing to try and get their data through these GWN access points, they are sure to prioritize voice. So no matter the amount of data that is sort of trying to go through one access point at a time, voice is always a thing being prioritized. This really maximizes the quality of any type of Wi-Fi voice calls and maximizes the amount of actual devices you can have on one access point. This includes, of course, Wi-Fi voice devices. Okay, sort of looking at more of the Wi-Fi voice enterprise solutions here, where roaming is a really, really big decision. Roaming is actually a client decision when it comes to our devices, and it allows the GWN series to play an active role in client roaming decisions to ensure seamless roaming. So basically what this means is that the client device, for example, the WP820, is provided a list of nearby access points that are logged within the device itself. From here, the client device, so the WP820, can decide which access point it actively wants to essentially send data through. So essentially, it will connect to the one that has the best quality. And even when you're standing in an area that has similar sort of network qualities, similar data transfer, it won't constantly switch back and forth. Devices such as our WP820 and all of our other devices that are Wi-Fi voice capable are able to stick to a single network, and if it's roaming specific, such as with the WP820, handoff to a new access point will only happen when it is absolutely necessary. So essentially what this means as well is having this list of nearby access points and their information. It shortens the authentication period with the device itself. So for the WP820, it makes handoff from access point to access point as seamless as possible. I've honestly tried this myself. Going from one access point to access point, it is the almost, if you were not listening for it, you would not even notice the sort of drop in the incoming voice or outgoing voice. It is not even a second's worth of time. It does utilize 802.11k, 802.11r, and 802.11b. What this means basically is that these are Wi-Fi standards that are more specialized for voice and supporting voice packets to help with that roaming authentication and speed everything up in that sense. All right, PMK caching and OKC. So this is one you're using 802.1x authentication. So PMK caching, what is this? Basically, it eliminates the need to re-verify and exchange authentication when a device is roaming to a new IP or on the same network. So essentially, with our GWN access points, it enables authentication to sort of be remembered when it comes to these devices. So WPA20 doesn't have to consistently, even when it's roaming in the same environment, renew authentication, exchange information. And like I said, it just cuts down on the amount of time it takes for handoff from one access point to the next. Opportunistic key caching. So this will send a copy of the PMK info from the client, and this will be extended to all APs within the network to eliminate authentication. So once the actual WPA20, for example, connects to a Wi-Fi environment, all access points are aware of its authentication and will not require it to constantly re-authenticate when it's roaming, which is a huge deal for larger deployments. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and shoot through some deployment examples here, and then we'll be kind of wrapping this up, and I'll be open to any kind of questions. So one of the more standard ones here when it comes to sort of getting used to this kind of deployment is a small to medium business. So for here with our example, we have a SIP service incoming, and everything routes through our UCM series of IPv4. Once it hits a PoE switch, all information is then sent to our access points here. So for this small office, for example, we have 3. A really good option here is our executives and our power users should definitely go ahead and utilize the GXV series and higher end version of the GXV series. Both the higher end version and the lower end version, depending on the deployment needs, this really helps maximize their productivity and enable them with video conferencing capabilities. Staff can go ahead and utilize that GRP series. Everyone from low call volume to high call volume would be able to have a customized phone just for them, depending on which phone in the series is needed. Managers who tend to do a little bit more departmental roaming and tend to not be at their desk all the time would be able to utilize the WPA20. Common areas where announcements may be needed every once in a while could be connected with our SIP intercom speakers or the paging device itself. And as an additional option, some managers, some employees would also be able to connect with the Grandstream Wave to their individual smartphone as well to utilize their extensions when not at the desk. All right. Enterprises, which tend to be a little bit more bigger here, you have a lot more roaming happening. Our SIP service would go through our higher end UCM 6510 through a PoE switch, and multiple levels would be supported by a variety of our GWN access points here. Some of the ones that are supported and shown at the bottom would be long range options, which I'll touch on in a little bit more of a moment. But when it comes to our executive and power users, a good choice here would go ahead and once again be our GXV series to enable that video conferencing capability and really push that collaboration as far as possible. Staff would be able to utilize the GRP series. And the same thing, managers being able to utilize the GS Wave or the WPA20, common areas and the various facilities that link them connected with our SIP intercom and speakers. And any kind of entrance points, security tends to be a little bit more of a concern in larger environments like this, can be linked up with the GDS 3710, our GDS series of facility access solutions. Sorry, I had a little bit of a brain fart there. All right, multi-site deployments here is another good example of where a Wi-Fi solution may come into effect. So Wi-Fi solutions here can also be connected with our GWN 7000s. These actually are able to create a private VPN that can connect two environments together. So in this case, we have two smaller offices that are connected with the GWN 7000 between them, and they actually would, because of this, be able to share one common UCM 6510 that would be deployed at one location or the other. Extensions, of course, would be all routed through this UCM for both networks, in this case, both sites. Okay. Hotel environments tend to be a little bit more larger, have bigger open spaces, and then many smaller spaces as well. The GWN long range option that we have would be great in this, just because it does offer long range, more powerful bandwidth, more powerful pickup distance, would mean more devices can be connected in various rooms, requiring less access points as well. Directors in security within a hotel would be able to utilize any kind of video conferencing and video capabilities that they would need to the GXV series. Front desk staff would be able to really excel that sort of multitasking capability, constantly having incoming calls from individuals who are currently staying with the hotel, outside calls requesting information on availability, and everything else they'd be able to handle through a GRP series. Hotel staff, such as room service or cleaning service, would be able to utilize the WPA20 to stay connected. Any kind of common areas would be able to utilize the GSC. This is also important when it comes to emergency situations too, where information needs to be shared en masse as quickly as possible. Urgent staff that may be slightly off-site but could be on call would be able to utilize the GS Wave so that they're always connected through their smartphone. And any kind of backdoor entrances that you really only want to use for shipping, deliveries, etc., would be a great option for our facility access products. Okay, another good example for a Wi-Fi deployment here is retail stores and large warehouses. Be able to go ahead and use, our GWN access points for smaller solutions. Just options such as our 7610 or 7600 would be ideal. But for larger retail areas, warehouse stores, bulk stores that have very huge open spaces, our long-range options can be utilized here as well. And much regularly here, manager security, kind of a reoccurring theme, would be able to use the GXV multimedia devices. Point of sale locations would be able to utilize lower end models of the GRP series. Mobile staff can go ahead and use that WP820, which can really enable them to multitask, both taking any kind of incoming calls while helping customers within the store as well. All common areas could be linked together and shared with a GSC intercom speaker. Any kind of urgent staff that are required can be connected with the GS Wave. And of course, entrances, delivery, for example, entrances can be covered by our facility access solutions. Right, and I believe this is our last one here. Education here is an ideal option as well for a Wi-Fi environment. Everything would be able to be linked up with our GWN solutions. This also would have a lot of outside areas such as field houses, pool halls, pool decks, and then any kind of rec areas can be connected with our weatherproof long-range options. There's a lot of different types of users within an education deployment. Main office, for example, would be able to utilize our GXV series. Classrooms can look towards our GRP series. Principal security maintenance individuals are consistently on the go, collaborating with various different individuals, different users within the environment, can go ahead and utilize WPA20. Offices, lounges, hallways, everything can be connected for announcements at any time with our GSC series. And then all entrances, security, of course, is an important thing here when it comes to education, would be able to be monitored and controlled with the facility access options that we provide. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps up everything on our Wi-Fi voice and video solutions here. And Angela, I'll pass it back over to you for questions.
Sounds good. Thank you. We did have a question that came in earlier during your presentation. They're asking, can the GVC 3210 link with the GAC 2500?
Yes, it can through Bluetooth. So you'd be able to go ahead and utilize the GAC as the actual speaker and microphone if you'd like.
Okay, thank you. How does a Wi-Fi voice solution compare to a DEC solution?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. So I know, there definitely are multi-cell solutions there, DEC solutions out there that, offer this roaming support that, I've been mentioning throughout the presentation a lot. But, DEC is definitely, it's hard because DECT is great because it does all function on its own frequency, which means you really will almost always have perfect call control, call quality. But Wi-Fi at this point has really accelerated to pretty much be on par. Like I said, we have all these new quality of service standards, various different settings within our access points that can bring call quality and prioritize call quality to be just as good as a DEC solution. Which at that point, it basically means, well, instead of installing all these different DEC base stations, these multi-cell solutions, if you're looking for a huge kind of deployment, there's a distinct possibility you'd be able to use these GWN access points to connect your voice solutions. While at the same time, you need to have Wi-Fi access in a lot of environments now anyway. It's really two birds with one stone.
Awesome, thank you. Let's go for another question. How quick is the handoff from access point to access point while roaming?
Yeah, so yeah, I just kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but definitely worth touching on again because of the quality service standards that we have built into the device where voice can be prioritized through the access point. It's incredibly quick. Like I said, we have those other features as well that supports caching authentication credentials. For example, with our WPA20 and GWNs working strategically together in that way, handoff is basically seamless. It's honestly, in my opinion, you can't even notice it.
Okay, great. And then I think we'll have time for one more question. I think this has been covered already, but it's worth, I guess, reiterating. How can you optimize a wireless network for Wi-Fi voice?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I did just touch on that, but same thing. Optimizing those QoS standards would be the really great place to start here. Another great option too that you'd be able to use when it comes to our GWN access points, you can customize and restrict network traffic as well. So all of them both support 2.4 and 5G connections. So you, if you want, would be able to direct all kind of the, for example, computer traffic through the 2.4, then all voice traffic through the 5G. If you want to, just to sort of make sure that, sure, we even have those voice quality standards, but just, you can make sure that voice traffic would absolutely have the best possible Wi-Fi channel to connect to.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Well, that's all the time that we have right now. Thank you for everyone that attended today. And if there's any other questions that you do have that you couldn't think of today, we will have this recorded, sent to everybody through email. So please go ahead and email us back for any questions or contact Grandstream directly or Streakwave. And be on the lookout for any other upcoming future webinars with Grandstream. Is there any final notes that you wanted to add, Brian, before we hang up?
Nope, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.